Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. This is our college football playoff rankings reactions. This is week 2 of them, right, Noah? Or is it week 3 now?
Uh,
I've lost track.
I want to say, well, let's see
It's week
here.
3 of these, I think.
Is it? Are
Yeah.
we in week 3 of the college football playoff rankings?
Yeah, we're in week 3 of the college football playoff rankings because this is week 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So math works
Yep.
out. And Noah, let me tell you, this has been a wild ride with this committee who knows everything, that loves to get together in a room and make some list. And I got to hand it to them. I will hand it to them this year, and we can debate about numbers and everything. But I think for the most part, they have done a really good job at not only compiling a top 25 list this week, but the top 10, and then, of course, the top 6, I think is. I think everyone can kind of agree, yeah, this is kind of college football right now.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job with, making the top 6, probably the only 6 teams that have a chance at making the college football playoff. So, respect there. And then your next, I don't know, next 7, 8 teams are all teams that are really good, but unfortunately have lost too many times to make the playoff.
Yeah, and it's just that time of the year where losses matter even more. No, let's go ahead and dive into the top 6. Of course, at number 1, we got Georgia. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Michigan. Number 4, TCU. 5, Tennessee. And number 6, wrapping it up, the family, LSU. Noah, like we said, this is the top 6. These are the 6 best teams in college football right now, hands down.
Yeah, and I have no problems. I wouldn't even probably rearrange these rankings for the top 6 right now. I think
No.
they're all pretty spot on in order. I think it's very fair. I've got. I personally wouldn't change anything around with the top 6.
No, and I mean, I guess you could argue, TCU's resume might be a little bit better, but Michigan's won by more points. But no, I'm comfortable with the way everything's at. Shout out Tennessee holding on, though. Tooth and nail, bro. Tooth and nail right now. They got to run the tables and pray for a TCU loss coming up. And we'll obviously talk about it in the betting and everything like that. But TCU with some good matchups this weekend. Honestly, though,
Well,
well, go ahead.
I'll stop you there because Ohio State and Michigan play each other, so one of those is going to have to lose.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, if you're Tennessee, a TCU loss makes it a lot easier, but I still think Tennessee holds the edge over Ohio State or Michigan once one of the two of them loses when they play each other.
Even if Tennessee takes another loss, let's say.
Well, no, if Tennessee takes another loss, they're done. I actually think the biggest threat for them is if LSU somehow goes and wins the SEC championship,
Ooh.
then you can't deny LSU a spot. Georgia's still going to get in with their only loss being to LSU.
LSU.
If TCU goes undefeated, then the winner of Ohio State Michigan is going to be in there too. So if you're Tennessee, then you're kind of fucked if LSU runs the table.
Yeah, you're SOL big time if LSU runs the table. And they got the team, and we've talked about it before. They seem to kind of figure out the family and got it all together. And hey, they can win some football games and win some tough ones. So can TCU. And everyone wants to say it's a knock that TCU comes back late in games. I think that is more than anything a testament to the fact that the boys keep playing. And hey, the defense finally showed up a little bit this weekend. And so hopefully that continues on through the rest of the season. Um, Noah, I heard something today on radio, and it really resonated with me. Georgia's been kind of the new Alabama, like where you just kind of bet the spread and you throw it away. They're just that good of a team where they're at the point where they can just bulldoze anyone believably, you know?
Yeah, I actually want to take that. Oh no, not take that back. Never mind. They already have it in the schedule. I thought I was looking at LSU's schedule and I'm like, oh, okay, they play Georgia. No, they just already have the SEC championship game in there because
Oh, wow.
both teams have clinched.
Fair.
So it is going to be an LSU Georgia SEC championship game. So yeah, and LSU looks like they have 2 cupcakes. I mean, they play UAB at home, and then they play at Texas A&M, who's been an absolute train wreck.
Yeah.
Georgia, they play at Kentucky, who earlier in the season I would have said maybe could somehow muster up something crazy, but they
Maybe
have not
somehow,
been playing
some way.
well.
No.
And then they have Georgia Tech at home, who's not looked good at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
looking particularly good there, but hey, we'll see what happens. Moving along, we got, I guess you got anything else about the top six, Noah, and we can kind of breeze through the rest of the list.
No, just, again, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're really hoping for LSU to
Oh,
lose
yeah.
somewhere. Probably not going to happen until the SEC championship game. But if LSU loses that one and TCU loses one of their remaining 2 games um, at Baylor and home against Iowa State, both in the realm of possibility. I think TCU should be favored in both of those, but TCU could lose, and that makes you feel a lot better as a Tennessee fan. And yet, you gotta feel okay about your chances at making the playoff if that happens.
Yeah, I got to at least know you'll get another look and hopefully a good look. Let's go ahead and breeze through the rest of the list here, Noah, because I mean, at this point, it's kind of, teams that were good enough to make the list, but not good enough to be in the conversation anymore. Starting with number 7, USC at number 8, Alabama, 9, Clemson, 10, Utah, 11, Penn State, 12, Oregon, 13, UNC, 14, Ole Miss, 15 K-State, 16 UCLA, 17 Washington, 18 Notre Dame, 19 Florida State, 20 UCF, 21 Big Green Wave, Tulane, 22 Oklahoma State, 23 Oregon State, 24 NC State, 25 Cincinnati. No, my biggest takeaway here is, first of all, thank God Bama is not even close to the conversation anymore when it comes to college football. And shout out NC State for being one of the biggest disappointments of this season, and yet somehow still managing to hang around the top 25.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's funny, you look at the preseason for the ACC, right? So Clemson was a narrow favorite to win the ACC.
Yeah.
And then right behind them you had NC State, Pitt, who's I think this point, and then I think North Carolina was the other one. Yeah, and North Carolina, who's looking like pretty much we're headed to a Clemson North Carolina ACC championship, which North Carolina, they're not going to make the college football playoff, but it'll be real interesting if they run this table and go 12-1. I mean, I think they deserve a ranking up around 7 or 8 if they do that, maybe even 6. I think they're being disrespected at 13. You look at USC and North Carolina, both play in a relatively weak conference. Granted, the Pac-12's proved to be a little bit stronger than the ACC.
Hey, they look. Hey, let's talk. Wait, I'm sorry. Let's sit there for a second. Pac-12, shout out to them. I thought it was going to be a real miserable year of football, but hey, competitive games. A lot of teams looked a lot better this year. So shout out to Pac-12 for figuring it out. Sorry, Noah.
Yeah, but both of them sitting at 9-1. Both have one loss to a ranked team. North Carolina losing to Notre Dame, USC losing to Utah. Both of them only believe have one win over a ranked team, and both of them have a lot of narrow wins against teams below 500. So, not A. I guess my point here is like pick and choose, right? Like, how are you going to keep USC up at 7, but then hold North Carolina all the way down at 13 when these two teams literally have the same fucking resume?
Yeah.
And honestly, North Carolina's got a Heisman candidate who I think should be the Heisman favorite in Drake May at quarterback. USC does not. I mean, like, to me, these teams should be one on top of the other, if not tied, where they are in the rankings. meet somewhere in the middle, put them at 10 and 11 or 11 and 12 or something like that. They're like, I guess my only problem here is like USC can't be up at 7 with North Carolina all the way down at 13 when they've literally played this. They have the same resume.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Yeah, it's terrible. And I'll even admit, as like a guy who was big on USC beginning of the season, they haven't played like a top 5 team. They sure as hell haven't played like a top 10 team. And I'm with you, Drake May, looking outstanding this
he
season,
should
and
win the Heisman. He should
yes,
win the Heisman.
really over your boy Bryce Young.
Yeah, Drake May's just played better football than anybody. I mean, Bryce Young looks really, really good, but
Noah, hold on, your audio went out.
my bad. I muted myself when I sneezed.
Oh, okay. You're back, bud.
Um, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Drake May, he should be the lead candidate for Heisman. He should win the Heisman at this point in my mind because he has, Bryce Young, he's played really, really well. He's really, really good. But Drake May has had the best season out of anybody in college football, in my opinion. And that is what the Heisman Award is for. So unless something completely falls apart the next couple of weeks, I think Drake May should win the Heisman.
Well, you heard it here first. Shout out Drake May. Hopefully, you do win the Heisman. Now, Noah,
Do we
before
know what
we what?
do we know what those odds are at right now?
I mean, we can pull those up real quick.
Because I'm pulling them up. I'm a little
I mean,
interested.
they
Right
got to
now.
be pretty solid. I would assume. What's his face?
CJ Stroud, the favorite,
Yeah,
at plus 100. Hendon Hooker for Tennessee at plus 400. I don't think Hendon Hooker wins it, though. Drake May plus 500. Blake Corum, Michigan's running back, at plus 750. He won't win because running backs do not win the Heisman.
no, it's a quarterback.
And then Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams is on there.
He's number 5 at plus 1200. Then you got Stetson Bennett, who he won't win. He doesn't do enough. Here's maybe your big value play, your sleeper pick. Max Duggan,
Ooh,
TCU's
dudes.
quarterback at
Yeah,
80 to 1 odds to win the Heisman. Bo Nix, who just a week or two ago was, I think he was the favorite a week ago after
yeah.
his performance against Washington, dropping to the 9th favorite at looks like 150 to 1 now. Tied with Bryce Young for 150 to 1. They've only got about 14, 15 people on this list now, or 16 total. That you can even get odds on. Depending on your book, there might be a couple more, a couple less, but and then you're talking about some running backs like Chase Brown from Illinois, probably not going to win it. Jalen Hyatt, receiver from Tennessee, there's no way he wins it without Hendon Hooker winning it. I mean, I know that happened a couple of years ago with Devontae Smith winning it over Mac Jones, but then you got Marvin Harrison Jr., 500 to 1. But yeah, I mean, this is a couple horse race at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's just kind of like the list, the top 25. It's down to the last couple. I think you're getting great value on Dukes there, 80 to 1, you said?
Yeah, honestly, I probably wouldn't take anybody outside of the top 3 with Stroud, Hooker, and May, unless I might sprinkle a little bit on Dugan. Maybe a little bit on Jaden Daniels, too, at 120 to 1.
Yeah.
If LSU runs the table, makes the college football playoff,
Oh, yeah.
and I believe the Heisman is
Before.
it's sandwiched in there between, so it's only based on what happens in the regular season. But we got 3 more games for Jaden Daniels. Maybe we see some magic. I don't know. Dugan, maybe the same thing. But I'm really liking the plus 500 on Drake May right now.
That's a great number, great value, and I think especially if you're getting him this late in the game, that you can't be asking for a better number.
Yeah, I
Can't
think he
be
was at
asking for
plus
a
not.
better number.
I think he was plus 900 last week. So if that tells you anything, he's moving up quick.
Yeah, moving up, moving up fast. Catch him before Saturday if you like him a lot. Noah, one thing I do want to talk about kind of before we get out of here, there's chaos. And I mean, it's college football, so of course there's chaos everywhere. But I'm over here looking at the Big Ten West, bro. And I see what, 1, 2, 3, 4 teams sitting here at 4-3 in the conference. And then obviously Illinois with the best record. Iowa and Purdue tied at 6-4, and Minnesota sitting in there as well at 7-3. Are we going to be saying Sky Ma, Rowboat, go Eagles soon?
Gophers.
Gophers, sorry, not Eagles.
Yeah, this is really interesting. If you love chaos, if you love this type of shit, you probably already know about the Big Ten West. There are 5 teams out of the 7 that still have a chance at winning this with 2 weeks left. Purdue, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, all tied at 4-3 conference record. Wisconsin sitting at 3-4. All of them have ways to win it. And my favorite thing about this, none of these teams control their own destiny. None of the 5 of them can win out and guarantee themselves a spot in the Big Ten championship. It's all up to tiebreakers. The tiebreaker scenario is different. It changes depending on who is tied, how many teams are tied. It's absolute fucking chaos here in the Big Ten West. Yeah, so it's too hard to speculate. I think there's like fuck. Let me see if I can pull it up. But there's like an outstanding number of possibilities with these, involving maybe 10 to 12 games over the last 2 weeks where, yeah, I believe I saw no team. I think Iowa has the best chance at winning the Big Ten West, as shitty as they've been this season, at like 30-something%.
Damn.
And then I think it was Minnesota and either Illinois or Purdue each are in like the low 20s percentage-wise, and then the other one of those, and then Wisconsin. So like you have 5 teams that are between about like 12 and 33% chance at winning the Big Ten West. So you can't like the odds for any of these teams.
No.
It sounds like a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot. They're all plus odds to win the Big Ten West if you're going to bet on that. You can't ask for a better thing as a bettor. I mean, like,
no, you can't.
If you feel strongly about any of these teams, they're all plus odds with only
like
2 games left in the season.
Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout
it's fucking
out.
Exciting.
Gotta love it. I'm gonna stick with Illinois. I think Illinois figures out a way to do it. It's possible.
I don't know. They kind of, all they had to do was like, all they had to do was beat Michigan State. I think Illinois might have like the lowest percentage chance just because they have to play Michigan this week.
That is tough.
Which
I don't know though, that I'm seeing that as a look ahead. I think Michigan, because this game doesn't really matter to Michigan, Ohio State, right?
So, right. So if Illinois were to beat, if they lose to Michigan, they would need a win versus Northwestern, a Purdue loss against Northwestern or Indiana, a Minnesota loss against Iowa or Wisconsin, and an Iowa loss versus Minnesota or Nebraska.
Jesus Christ.
So Illinois is not eliminated if they lose against Michigan. It just makes it gives them the toughest route. Minnesota needs to win out, and they need Purdue to lose to Northwestern or Indiana. Purdue needs to win out, and they need Iowa to lose against Minnesota or Nebraska. Iowa needs to win out, or if they lose against Minnesota, they need to beat Nebraska, have Purdue lose against Northwestern or Indiana, and Illinois lose against Northwestern and Michigan.
Jeez.
Or they could beat Minnesota, lose against Nebraska, have Purdue lose to Northwestern or Indiana, Illinois lose to, again, Michigan and Northwestern, and a Minnesota loss against Wisconsin. Wisconsin needs a win versus Minnesota and an Iowa loss against Minnesota and Nebraska, Purdue loss against Northwestern or Indiana, and an Illinois loss against Michigan and Northwestern. So Wisconsin, really tough. They're probably getting eliminated with one of those scenarios not working out this next week. Minnesota, Iowa is the big game to keep an eye on here because that changes everything for every team.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Does not fully eliminate Iowa. Does not fully eliminate Illinois. If Minnesota wins, that does eliminate Purdue. But if Iowa wins, if Minnesota wins, Purdue is still in it. If Iowa beats Minnesota, then Purdue is out. So, it's
Jesus
just
Christ.
fucking absolute chaos in the Big Ten West.
Unbelievable.
Couldn't ask for a better, more shittier ending to the regular season for the Big Ten West.
Honestly, it's poetic how it's ending for the Big Ten West. So shout out to them. Football is poetic. Who says you can't be romantic about football? Shout out Moneyball. Great movie. College football is insane right now, Noah. I think we got a pretty good idea of what the landscape's looking like. You got anything else to say in reaction to the top 25 list or any other college football scenarios?
Hey, man, they only dropped UCLA 4 spots after losing to Arizona at home. USC, UCLA coming up this week. That's going to be a very good game to keep your eye on as well.
Yeah. No.
UCLA wins that, and they're basically handing the Pac-12 South over to Utah on a silver platter.
Oh, yeah.
With Oregon's loss against Washington, this next game this week, this Oregon-Utah game, at least for the Pac-12 North's sake, and as well as the South, might not mean that much, oddly enough. If Oregon State wins and if UCLA beats USC, we could, who knows? But I'm still holding firm on what I said at the beginning of the season, AJ. I said we're going to have Oregon State, Utah in the Pac-12 championship game, and it is looking more and more likely every single week. Well, actually, it was looking a little grim there for a second, but last week brings it completely back into the realm of possibilities, and I cannot wait for that Beavers and Utes Pac-12 championship game.
Gonna be a hell of a game, Noah. Can't wait to cover it. Got a lot of exciting action coming our way. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the action. Also, make sure you're following Noah on Twitter at Engel Money Train. I'm sorry, you're what and what now in college basketball?
67 and 43 coming into the day. If you're not a big quick math whiz, that is plus 18 units on the basketball season, which is only 9 days in. So that's 2 units a day. What are you doing? You could be making all this money.
Yeah.
But if you're not following, then you're not.
Give them a follow. Give the show a follow. You can find that all in the link tree down below. And we will be back later this week with our college picks. So don't miss that. I've been the Brofect1. That is the Money Train, Noah. And we'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.